and that Canada is not the source of problems for the United States. We will continue to do that work and do everything necessary to avoid these tariffs coming in. But like I said, if on Tuesday there are unjustified tariffs brought in on Canada, we will have an immediate and extremely strong response, as Canadians expect.
So Canada relies on us 95%. We rely on them 4%. Big difference. And I say Canada should be our 51st state. There's no tariffs, no nothing.
Canada's thinking about changing things up, exploring trading more with Europe instead of the US. It could be a big deal for their economy, especially with energy. Okay, so Europe totally messed up by putting all their gas eggs in Russia's basket. Then, boom, Ukraine happens, and they're scrambling to ditch Russian energy, like yesterday. They were left with a giant energy hole, and the US swooped in, selling them tons of LNG. It was a perfect match. The US had gas and Europe was freezing. But Europe was still kind of freaked out. What if the US got all America first again and jacked up prices or stopped selling? They needed a backup plan, just in case. The US was their hero for a bit, but they couldn't help but wonder, what if?
Hurt American consumers. I think that's the thing that needs to be reiterated here, is that ultimately American consumers will bear the costs of these tariffs.
That's when they started eyeing Canada. Canada's got tons of energy and is known for being pretty chill. Basically, Europe was thinking, if the US gets weird, we'll just call Canada. They wanted a reliable friend they could count on for the long haul. Canada isn't short on energy resources. The country has vast reserves of oil and natural gas. This makes it an attractive option for Europe seeking to diversify its energy sources. The relationship between Canada and the EU has grown stronger over the years. A 2017 trade deal boosted their trade relationship, paving the way for deeper energy collaborations. Canada's energy sector has been evolving, especially in light of its complicated relationship with the US. Tensions have flared in the past, prompting Canada to rethink its energy trade strategies. With the US imposing tariffs, Canada realized it needed to explore new markets. This shift towards Europe was not just a strategic move, it was essential for Canada's economic future. Canada's relationship with the US has had its ups and downs. For decades, the US has been Canada's primary trading partner, especially in energy, but recent tensions have made Canada rethink its reliance on the US. The introduction of tariffs on Canadian goods under the Trump administration was a wake-up call. This prompted Canada to consider new options and markets. The trade disputes have strained the US-Canada relationship. Canada was determined not to be caught off guard again. The government began looking for ways to diversify its energy exports.
We're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in.
This included exploring opportunities in Europe, where the need for stable energy sources was urgent. One key factor in strengthening Canada's ties with Europe is the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, known as CETA. This agreement has been a game-changer for trade between Canada and the EU. Since it came into effect in 2017, trade has increased significantly. The numbers speak for themselves, from 53.3 billion euros in 2020 to 77 billion euros in 2022. This is a staggering 66% increase. With CETA in place, Canada has found new opportunities to export its goods to Europe.
Oh, it's going to be very bad news in Canada for sure. Estimates say that there'll be a drop in Canadian gross domestic product of between 2.6% up to 6%. The immediate effect, if the Canadian government retaliates.
Canadian exports surged, reaching record highs. Meanwhile, imports from the EU also saw significant growth. This agreement has laid the groundwork for deeper collaboration, especially in the energy sector. As Europe seeks to break free from Russian energy, Canada sees a golden opportunity in liquefied natural gas. The country has been ramping up efforts to export LNG directly to Europe. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has emphasized the importance of a solid business case before diving into this market. But the potential is enormous. Canada's LNG projects are gaining momentum. With Europe eager for new energy sources, Canada is positioning itself as a key player. The shift towards LNG exports aligns perfectly with Canada's strategy to diversify its energy markets. This could be a win-win for both Canada and Europe. If you are enjoying this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content. Canada's trade strategy. Canada's trade strategy is focused on reducing its reliance on the U.S. market. The goal is to boost non-U.S. exports significantly. This includes securing trade deals with countries across the globe. Canada is not only looking at Europe, but also eyeing energy-hungry markets in Asia. With the completion of the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, Canada has a more direct route to Asian markets. This opens doors for increased exports to countries like China and Japan. Canada is ready to tap into these markets, strengthening its position as a reliable energy supplier. Canada is setting its sights on Asia, and it's not just a passing thought. The completion of the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion has opened up significant opportunities. Now, Canadian oil can flow more freely to energy-hungry countries like China and Japan. This shift is about more than just energy. It's about securing Canada's economic future. China is a massive market, and its demand for energy is only growing. With the ability to ship more oil directly to Asia, Canada is in a prime position. The shipping times are shorter, and that's a big win. Japan, too, is thirsty for liquefied natural gas. Experts predict that Japan's need for LNG could jump significantly in the coming years. This makes it clear that Canada has a golden opportunity to step in. The Energy Sagan initiative was once a bright idea for Canada. It promised to build a massive LNG facility in Quebec. The plan was ambitious, aiming to export 11 million tons of LNG each year. But it wasn't smooth sailing. Environmental concerns quickly put the brakes on this project. Initially, the Quebec government was excited. They saw the potential to boost the economy and create jobs. However, environmental assessments raised serious red flags. The project faced scrutiny over its impact on local wildlife and greenhouse gas emissions. The beluga whale population was a particular concern. With numbers dwindling, any project threatening their habitat was bound to face pushback. In 2021, the project was officially scrapped. However, with the changing economic landscape, whispers of reviving it have begun. The Quebec government is open to reconsidering, but only if environmental concerns are addressed. It's a reminder that while the energy market is shifting, it must be done responsibly. Canada's realizing it can't put all its eggs in the U.S. basket anymore, especially with those trade spats showing how shaky things can get. So they're branching out big time. It's about finding new buddies to trade with, especially in energy. Asia and Europe are hungry for what Canada's got, and this move isn't just about making more money.
And evidence suggests that the vast majority of the burden, if not all of the burden, would fall on consumers in the form of higher prices.
It's about making sure Canada's not left high and dry if things get rocky with the U.S. again. Basically, if Canada starts shipping more energy overseas, the U.S. could see gas prices skyrocket, hitting everyone's wallets and squeezing businesses since they've been relying on Canada for cheap power. On top of that, the ongoing trade squabbles with tariffs and all are just making things worse, especially for car makers. And it's making the whole North American trade scene feel super unstable. So, Canada looking elsewhere for buyers might be the wake-up call the U.S. needs to sort out its trade game before it all blows up. China's strategic moves. Okay, so China's basically playing the long game. While Canada's busy selling more energy, China's snatching up all the stuff you need to make tech and batteries, those critical minerals. They're doing this to get a leg up in trade fights, like having all the best cards in a poker game. If North America keeps squabbling, China's going to be sitting pretty, and the U.S. could get left in the dust. Canada looking elsewhere for buyers? That's just opening the door for China to swoop in and grab a bigger slice of the pie. Basically, if everyone keeps throwing trade tantrums, we're all going to pay more for stuff, investors will get jittery, and the economy is going to slow down. That's why everyone needs to chill and talk it out. Canada and the U.S. got to team up to keep things steady, and the U.S. might need to rethink its trade rules. Bottom line, we're all connected, and working together is way better than everyone trying to go it alone. If you're excited to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.